Good morning and welcome to Math 9-3. This is Unit 1, Understanding Numbers. So we're talking about Lesson 1, representing whole numbers using place values. So a number representation and whole number representation for place values, we're talking about numbers and they can be represented in two different ways. First, we have numeric form, and then we have word form. Numeric form is also known as standard or decimal form. Numeric form is the numbers represented by digits. So you see on the right, we have digits here. Whereas word form, the numbers are written in words that identify place values. Okay, so let's reminder, we need to place a hyphen between the tens and one place value in every situation. So whether it's the millions, the thousands, we always need to do that. So when do we need to write numbers? Well, basically anything to do with banking. Okay, so record keeping for businesses. Okay, and of course for checks. Okay, so paychecks and or writing out statements. So it says which types of jobs actually deal with money the most? Well, of course, banks and any stores, because of all their cashiers and the managers that have to do cash at the end of the night. They have to add up what they made for the day and subtract what they started with. So all of those types of people need to know place values of numbers and the digits. So let's talk about a place values chart. We are actually going to place the numbers here in the examples in the place value chart. So the first section, and you're going to notice they all are in sections of 3. So here we've got one section of 3, another section of 3, and another section of 3, and again another section of 3. So each of those, we have the millions, billions, thousands, units, single units. The decimal point would be put right here, okay, on the far right of any whole number. So when we write these numbers in the place value chart, we always start on the far right in the ones. So we start here. And we write the number from the right to the left. So I start with a 0, then a 9, then a 5, then an 8. Oh, whoopsie, a 9, then an 8. That one was wrong. So a 9, then an 8. And then we can read this question. That number is $89,590 if it was money. The next question, there's only 3 digits. So I've got a 7, a 3, and a 5. The next one, 6 digits. So I'm going to have a 5, 6, 5 on the back end, a 1, 8, 2. The next number is quite large. We're going to have an 8, a 4, a 0, a 5, a 1, a 7, a 3, and a 9. So that one's in the millions now. So we would have 93 million. So if we were writing it in words, there would be a dash right here, 93,715,000. If the number 15 wasn't one word, we would put a dash there. And then 48 would have a dash. Same as the numbers above it in the thousands. 81 would have a dash if we wrote it in words. 65 would have a dash if we wrote it in words. 37 would have a dash if we wrote it in words. 89 would have a dash. 90 is one word, so it wouldn't have a dash between two words. But all these other places where I've placed dashes, that is where we would actually place a dash if we write it in words. So they would be in between, as you notice, always the tens and ones place value. Even here, tens and ones place value. Okay, taking a look at the next question. So we have a 6, a 5, a 4, and a 3. And the last one, we have a 5, a 4, a 0, a 6, a 7, a 0, a 3, a 2, a 6, and then a 6 and a 4. So this one's a large number. So let's figure out where we would put those fancy dashes. So if we were writing it in words, the previous number, we would put a dash there. In this big long number, we would have 46. There would be a dash if we wrote it in words. 23 would have a dash in words. 76 would have a dash in words. And so would 45. Okay. In the place value charts, those don't exist. However, I'm showing you where they would when we write them in words. So that's what's coming up for next. So turn your page. Now we're talking about writing these digits now in word form. So now spelling matters. Okay, so the first one here, we have 3,804,162. So spelling out each of the digits, 3, then I have million. Okay, each section I will do different color. 804, so 804,000. Okay, and then the next section, I've got 162, so 100, and then 60-2, okay, because it's the tens and ones place, so we do need a dash there. Let's take a look at the next number. Same idea. 800, 97, so there's a dash there, 1,000, and then the last section, there's no hundreds, so it's just 19. Okay. In the next two sections, we have to write the digits for the words. So here we've got 11 million. So our first section is 11 million. 463,000 is the next. So 463,000. And then it says 49. So that's like this question where there's no hundreds. So it'd be 049. All right, let's take a look and see if we can identify where the dashes are. Well, we had a dash there and a dash there. Where did they put theirs? We have one with 49, 63. Let's look at the next numbers. We have 28 and a 75. So let's write them in their sections again. So 28,000. So there's our 28,000. 575. There we go. So each section you take bit by bit, smaller and smaller. Now we're going to talk about money and writing checks. So it says record keeping and writing checks are just a couple of examples of how we use numbers and why we need to be able to spell them and write them correctly. When working a job, you earn a paycheck, which may be a physical item that you have to take to the bank, or it could be digitally added to your bank account. When writing checks, you need to make sure that each part is filled out correctly with the correct date. Now, on the right-hand side or the top left, there will always be a spot for a check number. So a check number. So we could put whatever we want. This could be check number 100. It could be check number 99. It could be check number 1. They could also put it over on the left-hand side. They could say this is check number 99. Okay, so it depends on which spot. We have one listed here for us on the right, but I wanted to let you know that they do sometimes show up on the left. Okay, so let's just ignore that part for a moment. We're going to fill out the rest of the check. So it says it's June 17th, 2022. So here's where we write our date below. So I'm going to fill everything out with our numbers. So we have June. We write the word June. We put our date, 17, and they've started the year for us, 2000. So now we put 22 at the end of that. Okay, moving on to the next section. It says Carl Thompson. He's at the hardware store and needs to write a check to Tony's hardware store. So he's writing it to, this is the to place. This is what you're writing it for. What did you buy? And then this is for your signature. That's where you actually sign it. Okay, so in this case, we are giving it to Tony's hardware store. Okay, and it says to pay for supplies for renovations. So here we have supplies for renos. So supplies for renovations. We are Carl Thompson in this case. So this is what we need to sign. So down here we need to sign Carl Thompson, and we need to do it in cursive. Now we're going to write the digits. So what are the digits for our check that we have to write? It says $245. So we would write 245 and 0.00. Now we start with a line so that nobody can write numbers in front of it and add numbers to it to make a larger amount of a check and steal money from us. So we have to put a line there. And we do the same thing at the very end. We put a line so they can't add numbers to the end as well. So now we have to spell 245. So I spell 240-5. And then I put that long line. Okay, you put a line right up to it so that nobody can add words to there to make you pay them more money. And that's how we create a check. All right, let's fill out the next few checks. This next check has the digits already placed for us. So now we have to spell the word. So we're going to start with the money. So we're going to start with our line, and then we have 20-2,000, 400. If you run out of room, you just go below. 450-5, and you draw your line. Okay. Now we're going to put our date and our check number. I'm going to make this check number 99. All right, our date is April 25. So we put April 25, and the year was 2022 last year. All right, so it says you need to write it. So you're going to sign it on the bottom. So I'm going to sign it for Miss Tuck, and you guys are each going to sign it the way you would sign it for your signature. And we have to write the check to Lakeside Boats. So Lakeside Boats. And what did we buy? A new boat. Okay, and now we've finished filling out our second check. Example 3. Now we're talking about somebody earning a paycheck. So this person, Sadie Smith, works for Gardening Incorporated. So this is who she works for. This is who they're paying, Sadie Smith, and the employer signs here, and this is how much she's earning. So we have to write that on the line. So we have line 2,000, 413 dollars. Okay, so now what would she get in terms of her bills at the store? Or at the bank. If I took it to the bank to cash the check, what would they give her? Well, let's work from the smallest to the biggest. So $1 coins, this is your ones place value. Then you've got your tens. Then you've got your hundreds. And the final one will be in the thousands. Okay, and thousands is a 2. Now we need to draw those. So I'm just going to draw the number 1,000 twice, because that's how many of them I have. And then I'm just going to put a little rectangle around them and say that's a dollar bill. So now I've got two $1,000 bills. I'm going to do the same thing for the 100s. I'm going to draw 4 100s. And then I'm going to put rectangles around them to make them look like they are bills. So like dollar bills. It's like a $10 or $5, only they're much bigger. So these ones, this is a $100, and I have 4 of them. And now how many $10 bills would she be given? Well, the bank is only going to give her one $10 bill. So we draw one $10 bill. And now these are our loonies. Those are our dollar coins. So she's going to get 3 loonies. And we know loonies are $1. $1. $1. And a loonie is a circle. Well, almost a circle. So we're going to draw a circle for the coins. Okay, so coins are always circles for us when we do these. All right, this concludes lesson 1 of Unit 1.